As digital ecosystems continue to expand, security can no longer exist in silos. Our next session explores how identity, cloud security, endpoint protection, and data governance can come together as one integrated strategy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome on stage Mr. Arjun Kumar, VP Sales, along with Mr. Arjun Chopra, Senior Security Solutions Architect, Zensia. I welcome both of you to the dais. Can we please have a huge round of applause for both our speakers? A very, very warm welcome to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Do we have a punch? All right, all good. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Yes, it was a heavy lunch. I hope you guys will pay some attention to us today, Sat Shri Akal, in a way how Salman Khan reads at Big Boss, though I don't watch it, but I have seen him do it, so I'm doing it over here for you. I don't want to become too technical because the entire security suite is available over here. Leaders of various organizations, you guys know what you're talking about. I will focus on some important points that we at Zensia try to focus on and help organizations. But first, what is Zensia? I am sure many of you have not heard the name before, but a quick introduction on it. Zensia is a top 3 Microsoft partner in India. We are serving close to 500 plus global customers in the Microsoft domain. A lot of customers in India, some of the names that you will see in the slides to come is something that you will be able to resonate with. And in fact, without naming, I'm happy there are a couple of customers who we have recently onboarded are present in this audience as well. So thank you for trusting us, and we do expect that other people who are sitting here get an understanding of what Zensia can bring as a value to your organization. So like I said, we are a Microsoft partner. We have been in existence for almost 15 plus years in this industry, delivering Microsoft platform proposition, everything from infrastructure to data and AI to security to power platforms. DevOps is something that we offer as a service. Like I mentioned, almost close to 500 plus customers, 50 plus security experts. The theme of today is Microsoft security as an overall security proposition. So yes, we have 50 plus security experts who work across 3 delivery centers that we have in Bangalore, Chennai. We have 300 plus employees. Some of the customer logos so that you get to understand the kind of work we are doing with the kind of customers. Some of the well-known names like Tata Capital, PNB, MetLife, Diageo, Maruti Suzuki, Pine Labs. These are all well-known names that you can resonate with. These are the brands who trust us to deliver the services across the entire Microsoft estate. Moving on. I am sure a lot of people who have come before me have spoken about some critical numbers. But maybe I would just like to focus on them for 1 quick minute. But before I do that, I have a question for the audience, and if anybody has an answer, please raise your hand and shout it out. What is the timeline window by certain that you need to report a data breach within your organization? How many hours is the window? Can anybody answer? Perfect, everybody knows. Perfect, 6 hours, absolutely correct. What is the timeline that DPDPA has set? I got your answer. Anybody else? I heard 72. Is that correct? Perfect. It is 72 hours. So 72 hours. Sorry. Moving on. The number of cyber incidents that have happened in India have tripled over the last 3 years. Just talking about 2025, the number of incidents that happened were 29.44 lakh, which were addressed by certain. And if I just go back to 2023, that was just 10.29 lakhs. It has tripled in just 2.5 years or 3 years. India is not a collateral damage. All of you security leaders are very well aware of it. The incidents have increased. AI has been pumped in by the hackers to breach various organizations. And what is the first point of entry? Identity. If you look at the number of attempts that have happened in terms of breaches, 74% account for identity theft, which I'm going to talk about in the slides to come. 73% of the organizations worldwide have still not incorporated automation and AI in their security operations. But if we look at the other side, people who are trying to breach our organizations, take away our data, steal the business, are already using automation and AI. And they are pumping in money big time over there. So why as enterprises we are not doing that is a question that we need to ask ourselves. 73% is a big number who have not invested in AI and automation. DPDPA readiness window, everybody is aware of, it is the reality of today. It is one of the parts that we are going to focus on how a Microsoft unified security stack can help you be ready for DPDPA in 3-phase implementation, which my colleague Arjun Chopra will talk about in the slides to come. As a CISO, as a security head, your job was to protect the systems. It is not anymore. As per the DPDPA, you will have a legal accountability. You have a board level scrutiny. Because of the DPDPA, an entire board is now talking about cybersecurity, which was not the case earlier. And overall AI governance. Everybody knows about shadow AI. So what is the CISO's job now? And it is not just about a question whether your organization will have a breach, but how do you detect that breach and address it in the shortest time possible is what your job is now. Moving on. Zenshare, like I called out, is a Microsoft partner. Our proposition is Microsoft Security Stack. How through a unified Microsoft Security Stack we can address it. Some more numbers for all of you. In any given enterprise, and all of you can say yes or choose not to, but at any given point in time, anything between 30 to 40 plus tools are being used. What does that lead to? It leads to tool sprawl, analyst productivity hindrance. I also spoke about the identity-led breaches that have happened over the years. 16% attributes to the stolen credentials. And 292 days is the average timeline for an organization to get to know that the identity was stolen. Will that work on a 6-hour certain mandate? Question. Will that work on a 72-hour DPDPA mandate? The answer is no. How do we address it? By a Microsoft Unified Stack. Some of you might say that you are using Google Productivity Suite. We are not using M365. But Microsoft can still be the answer because Microsoft have APIs which can be pulled through the Google Workspace and your security stack still runs at a better speed, at a better mandate. Analyst fatigue, I called this out earlier, 40 plus tools, cross-referencing various dashboards, identifying how a user has moved from an identity to data to cloud and where the breach has happened. That cannot be contained in 6 hours if you have a tool sprawl or different best of breed tools which are being used. On the same number, if you see on the right hand side, and this is as per the market survey that has been done globally by various analyst organizations, 64% of the CISOs or security heads prefer a single platform-based security approach. On the other hand, 27% prefer a best of breed. But will a best of breed work going forward for India? DPDPA, while new for India, but all of you work for multinational companies and you know what GDPR is. You know what other privacy acts are. DPDPA is on the same lines, it's nothing different. But in order to be compliant, what is the best way forward? And that is where we suggest a unified security approach. Shadow AI visibility gap, 42% organizations have some mechanism to detect it, but they still don't know how to go about it. Moving on. Our proposition or the message that we are passing on today is very simple. It is not about a brand loyalty to Microsoft. It is about how do you reduce your risk? How do you improve your overall cybersecurity propositions? For those people who are already using the M365, the productivity suite of Microsoft, your data, PII data, confidential data is already there in the SharePoint. It is already there on the emails. It is already there on the Teams. By combining the strength of Microsoft security products on top of this suite, you have a single language that is being talked starting from identity, a username which can be understood by the Microsoft security products but possibly not any other security product. A gap in analysis of how a breach happened at identity went to an endpoint. If you have the same stack, your life becomes much more easy, which can then be flagged at a SIM, which is Microsoft Sentinel, and you automate the overall response playbook by bringing in the SOAR capabilities. That is what the Microsoft proposition is about. We are not here to promote Microsoft, but how you implement the Microsoft tools is what Zensia's value add-on is, and I will quickly talk to you about it in 2 to 3 minutes. Our larger focus today is DPDPA, where Arjun Chopra will come and talk about it. But how do you execute the zero trust journey? Starting from identity to endpoints to establishing a SOC and doing an overall governance. If I talk about identity itself, like I pointed out earlier, 84% of the organizations have already experienced identity-related breaches. And I am sure all of you are already across this number. You would have faced it in your organizations as well. 75% of these cases actually involved identity theft, which we did not know about. Why? Because the legacy MFAs are not enough. Like I said, hackers are pumping in AI in how they approach the identity theft. Privileged access is the highest risk surface right now. And the non-human identity crisis. Everybody knows, and this is a question for all of you, and I know this is a pain point for all the CISOs as well. More than the number of humans in an organization, there are non-human identities, be it APIs or the AI agents. All the technologies at play, it is a non-human identities which are at risk of being hacked. It is an implementation accelerator. As a separate example, if I talk about endpoints, where a Microsoft Defender and Microsoft Intune comes into the picture, we have created something called Zen MDM. It is an accelerator, it is a dashboard through which Zensia enables you to deploy any of the compliance parameters. As an organization, you want to be ISO 27001 compliant, you want to be DPDPA compliant, you want to be, let's say, a SEBI compliant if you are an NBFC. Through that dashboard, you can go and select all the compliances that you want to be activated. By a click of a button, all the end devices, the mobile devices which are onboarded on the Intune platform, the rules and policies will be automatically configured. No human intervention required. That is the value add-on that Zensia brings. It's not the Microsoft product. All of you are already aware of what Microsoft has to offer when it comes to the Microsoft security. But how Zensia implements it, how it accelerates the overall journey. I have come across customers who have bought Microsoft E3 licenses, have E5 licenses, but are not using the Defender Cloud or Defender for endpoints. They have procured a third-party tool just to manage the identities or manage the endpoints, which means you are wasting your money. You already have license of a certain security product in your E3 or E5. But despite you doing that investment, you are finding another third party because either you were not aware, or nobody informed you, or you did not know how to implement it. This is again where Zensia comes in. We help you identify what are these gaps. Not only that, we help you reduce your overall tools as well and implement the right security strategy. SOC, using Microsoft Sentinel, we have something called Zen Secure. It is an accelerator combined with the best practices. Everybody knows when it comes to SIM, it is all about managing the log ingestion, having the right tools in place, and then having the rules updated on quarterly basis. Otherwise, the amount of logs that gets ingested in your SIM tool, the cost will go exponential. This is where Zensia's value proposition comes in, with 50 plus security experts governing the SOC for our customers 24/7. How do we bring in the industry flavor and the best practices flavor of Microsoft is what Zensia's value proposition is. Since this is the first time Zensia is speaking in front of all of you, a lot of you are not aware about this name, but we've been in business for 15 years, delivering customers globally with companies like Monster.com or the others that I spoke about earlier. We want to pass on the same experience to you now, and that is why we have partnered with the lead CISO. Moving on. All this that I've spoken might sound English, but 3 real world examples that we are talking about today. And these are names that all of you are already aware of. First is Ford Motor Company. They had fragmented visibility, multi-cloud, and multiple endpoints. The problems that they were faced were these. How did they address it? After long conversations with Microsoft, they finally ended up adopting a unified Microsoft security platform, in which they went with Intune, Defender, Purview, River, and Sentinel across the entire IT estate. And what was the result of it? It was very simple. They reduced their cost, they reduced the overall tools that they were onboarded, the analyst fatigue, and they ended up having zero blind spots. For a company like Ford or any other automotive company which is now entering into the EV space, it is all about IoT data coming in, telemetry data coming in, the data going up. How do you maintain zero blind spots? It is by having a unified security platform. Another, Trinet, which is an HR solutions company based in US, they had the similar issues, tool sprawl, delayed response time, the time to detect, and heavily analyst fatigue. Again, they went with the same approach. They adopted Defender, they adopted Sentinel, Purview, Entra, tying up all the endpoints, cloud, and governance into one single platform. And what was the result? Same, instant ROI, zero gaps. Same goes for Air India as well. After acquisition by Tata Group, what did they do? They moved their entire estate from on-prem and various clouds to Microsoft Azure, not only adopting Azure as a cloud infrastructure, but also bundling in the entire Microsoft security products as well. And zero gaps, for a company which is an airline, they know the kind of back-end IT infrastructure and the importance of having absolute security visibility. We cannot have delays in a single minute delay of booking a ticket. Otherwise, your entire brand reputation goes away. This is where Microsoft helps you. Moving on, we will jump on to DPDPA, and I invite Arjun Chopra for that. Arjun, quick question for you. DPDPA, everybody is talking about it. But how, as an end customer, do we go and address it?
So with the DPDPA discussion, I want to keep it like we already know. There are some key facts that we are already aware of, that the penalty clauses goes up to 250 crore. There are about 23 rules that have already 23 rules into 3 phases, wherein the first phase is about the definitions, establishing the data protection board within the organization, and the second phase is about the consent manager. And the third phase is about your data security, where your data is being stored, is it encrypted, or who has access to it, are the data access owners or somebody who's accessing the PII data, is it accessing through a secure device or not. So this is where we come in, and with the help of Microsoft Security Stack, how we can establish that within your organization.
But Arjun, 23 rules, how do we go about, step-by-step implementing it? Is there a way that Zenshare has found to implement and help the CISO community?
So for that, what we have done is we have divided these 23 rules into 8 domains and 43 requirement steps. So these 8 domains will give you the workflow, like what has to be done, how it has to be configured, and the 43 requirements that are there will help you, like it will be like a checklist where you can inspect your internal tools, like what is configured, how to check like what is missing, if there are any configurations that needs to be done, or some new tools are required. So that will give you that perspective. So these are the 43 requirement steps. You can consider this like a checklist, wherein each point, each step represents certain DPDP requirements as per the 23 rules that were highlighted.
But does Microsoft offer a consent manager?
So consent manager is not part of Microsoft, there are other regulations around having it registered within India and all. So we'll discuss that in the upcoming slide. So here what we have done is, with the help of Microsoft Security Stack, as you can see, Purview covers DLP rules 6 through 7, 8, 13. So that is how we have mapped the Microsoft Security Stack along with the availability of what is there in the 23 DPDP rules that are shared. So these are the penalty structures. I think most of us are already aware. The penalty goes up to 250 crores, and the major penalty that we can see is about not having the right type of security safeguards for the data that we are storing. Next, there is a major misconception about DPDP that it only applies to large enterprises, but just to clarify that it has, even startups, even a person who's saving employee data, DPDP will apply to them as well. So second stage comes like how do you notify once a breach happens. First thing, how will you detect like where data is getting breached. So when you send the notification, that has to be sent to the data protection board within 72 hours. It should contain all the information about how the breach happened, what was compromised, how it was detected, and what are the remediation steps. That has to be notified within 72 hours. And after that, the users also have to be notified who data is impacted and what steps they should take. Now moving on to the compliance workflow, there are 5 major pillars which are discover, classify, protect, detect and respond. So discover and classify we can cover within the Microsoft Purview functionality, where it can discover PII data across your cloud environment, across your endpoints, across your SharePoint, OneDrive and all. Then we can classify it using a custom SIT. We can classification label can be applied to that data, like where all your PII data resides. Now protection will be in terms of endpoint, which is accessing that data, how accesses are provisioned, like conditional access is there or not, if it is happening from a secured location as well. So there protection comes into the picture. Now detection is mostly your SIM solutions or if you have XDR deployed. So how will you detect when a breach happens? So that comes under detection. And then the most important part is how do you respond to that? Do we terminate the connection? How much data has been lost? What are the steps that an organization needs to follow once a data breach happens? So all that is covered through Microsoft Security Stack.
Thank you, Arjun. We are running short on time, but as you guys know, we have a booth outside. We'll take 1 more minute and present you a live example that we have created the overall flow for an e-commerce company, starting from a user joining in, let's say for example, a Flipkart and putting in their credentials. How will the overall DPDPA flow look like? We'll quickly take you through that example. Yeah, go ahead, Arjun.
So this is an example of a website where e-commerce website where customers will register in. So while capturing their information like name, address, or even their payment information, a consent manager comes into the picture where you have to have a visible consent capture and in order to verify if it is a child or not, if parental consent is received, that is the area that is covered by the consent manager. Now once the data is provided, the input is given by the customer. You are storing it in your database, or if a file is downloaded, is it stored in your SharePoint location? Then who has access to that data, and all those things comes into the picture. So this is a overall journey, like how the customer will register and where all the services will be applied through Microsoft, and what will be the data flow, where retention labels will come into the picture, for how long duration you want to save the PII data, what encryption standard you need to follow. So all these steps are listed here. Yeah.
We have also, as you can see on the screen, let's say if a customer asks for deletion of data, what will be the flow? Within 90 days, active data source will trigger this erasure through SQL query, customer is going to delete. So we have mapped them with Microsoft security products and also the Zenshare services to help you or any customer take through this entire journey. Our time is up, but at a parting note, we have created various accelerators and IPs at Zenshare itself to deploy these tools and make the life of the CISO very easy. Please do come and spend some time outside the booth with us, and thank you so much for listening in. Appreciate it. Thank you.